Good morning. Today is Wednesday, September the 16th, 2020. Notice is hereby given that a special meeting of Commissioners Court of Grimes County will be held on this date at this time. It's 8:50 a.m. We are at 114 West Buckington Avenue in Anderson, Texas, at which time the following subject will be discussed and acted upon to wit. The meeting has been called to order. Agenda item number 1, agenda item number 2, consider and take action regarding the burn ban and authorize the county judge as signatory. So before us this morning, we, last week, or the last time we met, we weren't quite sure if we needed to remove the burn ban or not. We have had a little bit of rain since then. I said a little bit because I don't think the entire county has received a really good saturation. But we do have the recommendation from our Emergency Management Services Coordinator, the first, Mr. David Lilly, and he has the recommendations from some of the chiefs. So, Commissioners, don't mind, I'm going to let him speak first. Mr. Lilly?
Judge and Commissioners, yes, the Forest Service, Texas Forest Service, I just reviewed their most recent report, the one for this week, that assesses or describes potential fire hazard or fire levels. And right now they have us at green, which means our moisture level is high enough to merit that. I talked with several of the chiefs who kind of echoed that, saying yes, our moisture, even though we haven't had a whole lot of rain countywide, the rain combined with the humidity that we've had has raised our moisture level high enough to where, you know, they feel that it's safe enough at this point to consider lifting it. I also reviewed the burn ban map that the Forest Service puts out on their website, and currently the only counties adjacent to us that have a burn ban in place is Walker and Montgomery. I thought Montgomery or Walker County had not done one, so Judge, but they do have one. All the other surrounding counties have lifted their burn bans.
So again, it's Waller and Montgomery that still have theirs in place?
Walker.
Walker.
Yes,
Oh,
Walker and Montgomery County. Waller County lifted theirs.
So those folks to the east of us.
Yes.
Mr. Foltz, stop me when my questions or comments are inappropriate, please, based on the agenda. In the burn ban that we currently have, do you know how many citations were issued during this burn ban, Mr. Lilly?
I have no idea, sir.
Do you think any citations were issued during this burn ban?
I couldn't hazard a guess.
So if you guessed it would be a hazard?
Well, I know, I've heard on the radio several times where fire chiefs responding to burning ban violations have requested a deputy.
The radio you're talking about is our radio system?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Where they have requested for deputies to be sent to the scene. At least 2 of those where they later called back to dispatch and said, you can go ahead and disregard the deputy. I'm not sure what the reasons for that was, but there's been, I would say, at least 4 or 5 times that I've heard since the burn ban's been in place that they've requested a deputy.
I guess my question, or one of my concerns is when we do have a burn ban in place, as we do right now, as is the topic of discussion, when we get calls of not accidental fires, but on purpose fires, the order said that there was up to a $500 fine, Class C misdemeanor. And I'm not looking to cause a hardship on any citizen, but I am interested in when this Commissioner Court studies the situation and reviews the facts and takes a recommendation of yourself, the Forest Service, the fire chiefs, and we do put a burn ban in place, that our inability to enforce that or our lack of enforcement of that, I guess the bottom line question is, why would we put a burn ban in place, period?
Well, again, I do know that there are citizens that, you know, are very diligent and law-abiding, and when there's a burn ban in place, they do follow it.
I agree.
I take that as a reason for why we had, it seems like a lot less burn ban violation calls this round than we've had in the past. During some periods, it's almost seems nonstop, especially over the weekends. Doesn't mean there haven't been violations, but it does seem to have been less than what I would consider the average. I don't have a count on how many. I could try and get that from dispatch to see how many calls it were during this period. But again, there are citizens that will abide by the burn ban, and then there's others that don't, so.
And I guess those that don't are the ones that concern me, that they jeopardize their neighbors, they jeopardize a lot of people in the county, and they put our first responders at risk, or additional risk, when they shouldn't be in that position. Commissioner, you have a comment?
I guess I was gonna back up to your statement that you made that we don't enforce. You know, why would we put it in place if we're not gonna enforce it? I think the enforcement has to be a coordinated effort between the sheriff department and the JPs, if I make no mistake. Is that correct? Burn bans go to the JP's
That's
office?
correct, that's a class.
Yeah, the sheriff's office, if the deputy files a citation, that's correct.
Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that it's not us, but it's a coordinated effort. I get what you're saying, but I just want to make sure we're clarifying
Sure.
who should be enforcing.
And if there's somebody burning within the city limits of one of our municipalities, our burn ban does not apply to them. So, but I just, you know, I feel like we as a court, we struggle on making the best decision for our citizens. And then when we do implement a burn ban, if people don't adhere to it, there's a disconnect somewhere. And I'm not blaming the sheriff's office, I'm not blaming the JPs. I will blame the citizens that don't follow a no burn order, but I guess maybe because they feel there's no consequences to be paid if they start a fire and it gets out of control, or even if it doesn't get out of control. We're trying to be preventative with that burn ban issue, so.
But for the most part, I see a lot of discussions about, is there a burn ban enforced? You know, they ask that question a lot, and they share it a lot with one another.
Sure.
So apparently, they still think we enforce it, and that's a good thing.
A lot of people get the message, but it's only a couple of them that don't
Those that gonna
adhere to
buck the
it,
system
so.
anyway, so.
So with that, is there a recommendation? Commissioner Mallett will not be joining us today. But is there a motion from the court on where we stand on this burn ban?
I make the motion that we remove the burn ban. Is that the recommendation that you made?
Second.
There is a motion before the court by Commissioner Walker on agenda item number 2. It's seconded by Commissioner Dobianski. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
The decision is 4-0. I will issue an order today of lifting the burn ban. So, Mr. Lilly, if you will kindly make your rounds of putting the burn ban signs back up.
Yes, sir.
But before we adjourn, we're still going to ask our citizens to use caution and good judgment when they do any disposal by fire.
Yes, sir.
With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
I have a motion on agenda item number 3 to adjourn by Commissioner Dobianski, seconded by Commissioner Cox. Any further discussion? And hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.